Hey guys, super short intro because this video is going to be long enough as it is. We are back on the decluttering train. Today I'm talking all about foundations and concealers, so let's go ahead and dive in. Alright, so first things first, I have something that is leaking in here, and so I need to find it and get rid of it immediately. So it is this guy from Idole Minerals, which is a good enough foundation. It's pretty light coverage, but it leaked like this when it came in the mail, and the fact that it's leaking like this now, it's not a favorite enough to keep it, so it's out. Might as well talk about this guy too since I'm holding it because it also got leaked on. This is the Revlon Color Stay. I'm going to toss this one too for a couple of reasons. It's super old. It doesn't have a pump. It actually has like an open, just kind of glass container. This isn't quite my shade. It's a little too pink for me. It's not my favorite from the drugstore. It's not my favorite. So for all those reasons, it's out. Now I want to move on to some easy keeps. I'm going to start with some that I talked about in my recent 2017 favorites. These are foundations that were new to me that I found in 2017 and loved so much so that they ended up my favorites. And I'll link to that if you want to click the eye up in the corner, link to that there. Huda Beauty, her Faux Filter foundation was in there. The Fenty Beauty Pro, I think this is the Pro Filter foundation, was also in there. This guy from Physicians Formula, the Healthy, it's just called the Healthy foundation, was in there. And the MAC Studio Fix Fluid was also in there. I'm sure the rest of them were also in here too, or off on the side, because this is not all of them, folks. But these are just those that I spot right now. Oh, and speaking of Fenty Beauty, I picked up two shades because I wasn't quite sure which shade I would be. And so I'll keep both of these. Let's see, what is next? This is one that I know it's going to be easy to toss. This is the Hourglass stick foundation, and this just did not do well on me. It got too greasy, oily on my combo skin, and so somebody else will really like this, I think. Okay, so here I have gathered up my stick foundations. I, way back in the day, wanted to try quite a few, and so I did top 5. These are from that selection, but I think a few of them can go now, namely like the Maybelline Fit Me. Yes, I really like this. It's certainly one of the best I've tried from the drugstore, but there are others in here. First of all, it's really old, but then there are also others in here that I really prefer over it, and the same could be said for the e.l.f. Moisturizing Foundation Stick, although it too, if you're looking for an affordable option, is amazing. This Makeup Forever, it has a good amount left, but because I love this Lancome and the Makeup Forever can get a teensy bit shiny on me, I'm just gonna go ahead and ditch this guy. And honestly, it has been so long since I've used the Inglot or the Dermablend, I want to keep them around just so I can give them a more thorough and recent go. This is a Lancome. It's pretty much almost gone, so I bought another backup of it, which is, again, why I'm having such an easy time getting rid of some of those that I just know don't work quite as well as this one does for me. Alright, let's talk about this stuff. I haven't talked about this on my channel in forever, and it's still so underrated as far as foundations go and brands go. This is Manuel Beauty, the Manuel from America's Next Top Model. He has a makeup line, and his foundation is fantastic. And they've actually since repackaged it. So you can see here in my right hand that it comes with like this black plastic backing, which is hard to kind of get all of the foundation out. So I just slide it out like that and use it like this to get the rest of it out. They've since repackaged it, so I really want to try it. Also because these are just a little too old. You can see this one's starting to break up in here, and this one never got used because it wasn't my right shade. So these are going to get tossed, but I'm going to repurchase the newer packaging. Here is an easy one to get rid of. I will be giving this to someone. It's the Marc Jacobs Perfection Powder. Mine is the shade 240 Bisque, and I'll put some of my shades in here in the description bar for reference. I probably won't do it for all of them, especially those that I'm getting rid of, but just in case you're wondering what shade I am in various brands. I'm going to give this away. This is just so dry. Even on my combo skin, it clung, it just laid unevenly, it looked chalky. It was not a good foundation. Maybe it could be a good setting powder for someone, but I have so many other setting powders that I just, talked about, got rid of, purged, whatever. I just don't need it. So let's actually just keep going on the powder train since those are relatively fresh in my mind. I love the IT Cosmetics Celebration Foundation powder, and I also love the L'Oreal. This is easily the best one I have from the drugstore, so I'm definitely keeping those two. The others in here, the Dermablend is pretty good too. It's not an absolute favorite though, so I'm going to give this away to someone. And the others are just like not my favorite, in terms of what you keep because you love. They're all good and they work well on my skin, but they're not my absolute favorite. and because I still have so much left of those that I really do love, these can all go. For reference are the Physicians Formula Mineral Wear Talc Free. They are the Pure 4-in-1 Pressed Mineral Makeup. This has, I think this is special edition packaging. It's gorgeous looking, if for nothing else but like vanity candy. And then this is the Sephora Matte Perfection Powder Foundation. So again, I like all of them. I just don't like them as much as those that I'm keeping, and I don't need any spares. Here are a few from some relatively unknown brands that I want to keep. They're not foundations though. I think they're setting powder, so wrong video, but I think they got caught up with my foundation. So this is from the brand Ray. This is 20 Degree Mineral Powder, and then this is from Rouge Bunny Rouge Flawless Face Powder in the shade Adagio. They're super silky feeling. I think it's just one of those that because these aren't brands like at the front of my mind, I rarely think to reach for them. Also, I have been keeping them with my foundation, so I guess I'll try them as foundations and setting powders too, just to see what works best. The Urban Decay All Nighter I really love. I just have yet to find a shade that matches my skin. This is like the second I got a shade. I returned it because it was too yellow for me. I got this shade and it just isn't quite right for me still. So I'm gonna give this to somebody because it has a great, pump packaging, and I've used it maybe 4 or 5 times. Again, I love it. It's just I find myself not reaching for it because it's not the right shade. Let's just get rid of these because these aren't even, we'll talk about them later, but they aren't even foundation, so I don't know why they're here. Here are 2 that need to go just because of age. They are some of my favorite from the drugstores though, especially for matte foundation. It's the Rimmel Stay Matte Liquid Mousse Foundation. My shade that I should be using is True Ivory or 103. This ivory is just a tad too light for me, but both are super old, and especially because they're mousse textures, they just get a little thicker with age. So out the door they go. Ooh. And then I still have powder foundations in here. I didn't even finish that complete thought. So I have CoverGirl Clean. That's gonna go because it's okay. Again, not my fave. Actually, that's the same reason why I'm getting rid of all of these. Not that Mally or J. Manuel are bad. They're just like not the best. I'm going to get rid of this Physicians Formula Nude Wear. I love, love, love it. But because I have the new Healthy Skin Foundation and this is old, I'm going to ditch this guy. Let's talk about these. In terms of light coverage, well, not that the IT Cosmetics is light, but maybe a little bit more layerable from light to medium-ish full, whereas the Naked Skin is pretty light. It really just evens out my skin tone, and it's not my favorite, so I'm going to give this away. I think they sent this along with a lot of other shades to me, and so I haven't used this all that much, so it's going to go to someone, and I'm just going to keep these. All right, so now that we have some room here, I'm going to clutter it up even more with even more foundations. Guys, I told you I had a problem. Okay, in terms of absolute loves from this pile, I'm definitely keeping the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Foundation. It's so thin, but so incredibly pigmented. I'm also on the opposite end of the spectrum. Love the Photo Focus Foundation from Wet n Wild. It's drugstore. It's buildable, but it's certainly not as full coverage. I am going to get rid of the Physicians Formula Le Velvet foundations. I liked these, and I was actually surprised at how much I liked them, but I just don't like them as much as at this point, I still have quite a few foundations I'm keeping, and so I don't like them as much. Okay, this is where I start to get really overwhelmed, especially since I just realized that my 2 absolute favorite powder foundations from Cover FX and Kat Von D weren't even in here, along with the LA Girl Pro Coverage and the Becca Ultimate Coverage that I can't even find at this point. But all these were in my top foundations for 2017, so I definitely want to keep them. I'm a little overwhelmed by all this. Also, I found the new 24-hour Superstay foundation from Maybelline, which I really like too, so gonna keep that. Okay, maybe let's separate it into drugstore versus high-end. So for my drugstore foundations, I have the e.l.f. e.l.f. foundation. This is not for me. It doesn't work for my skin type, so that's an easy no. Okay, so I think I just need to divide everything up between drugstore and high-end. Let's tackle it that way. It might be a little bit easier to digest. So here are my drugstores, including both of these actually. So we have the L'Oreal Infallible Total Coverage. Maybe do it this way. Fit Me Matte and Poreless, Infallible Total Coverage, Pro Matte, and Pro Glow. 2 from CoverGirl, the Healthy Elixir and the Stay Luminous, and then 2 drop foundations, the Airbrush Away and the NYX Total Control Foundation Drops. So of the 2 CoverGirls, the Heavenly Elixir is my favorite. It's also a better shade match for me, so the Stay Luminous goes. Between the 4 of these, I definitely don't think I need all 4. I'm more of a fan of full coverage and more matte coverage, and I think the Matte Poreless and these 2 from L'Oreal are a little bit older than the total cover. So this stays and the other 3 are out. And now we have these 2, which I honestly don't, I was kind of on a quest to try lots of drop foundations, obviously, as you can tell, because I have quite a few of them here. And I do like the custom cover drops, but I haven't had enough. I mean, look, this one from Dermablend is barely used and separated. So I do want to give these a little bit more of a go, just so I have a sense of comparison. So all these will stay. And I almost forgot this guy. This is the CoverGirl Simply Ageless 3-in-1. This is a nice moisturizing foundation. It's relatively light coverage. I think my mom actually uses this, and so I'm going to give this to her. All right, it is the home stretch. This is the last batch of foundations that I have to work through, and honestly, as I look at them, I kind of just want to pick those that I know I really, really loved at one time or have a sentimental attachment to, because the rest of them, while they might be good and nice, they're not my absolute favorites, and I don't think they're any better than some of those that I am already keeping. So let's make this quick and easy. I wore the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation on my wedding day, and you can even see it's like almost gone. It's like peeling away from the insides there, but it has sentimental value, so I'd like to keep that. The Dior Air Flash was one of my first, not this specific can, but was one of my first luxury foundation buys ever. So I'll be keeping that too. I love the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Plus, along with the LC Cosmetics. That's one that I had like a love affair with, and then it kind of fell by the wayside. And then I want to come back to this Natasha Denona Foundation X as well, because I think I really liked it, but it's one of those where I just can't, like, nothing specific's coming to mind. So I want to dip back into that. That's not to say I didn't love any of these that are left. Like, I mean, obviously this Tarte Rainforest with the Sea Foundation, I really, really liked it. It's a little bit of a lighter, like more buildable coverage, but it's older. The pump's kind of a mess to deal with because it keeps getting stuck on the sides. And I have other foundations, like I said, that I just think I'm gonna like more, so I'm not too broken up about losing that. And the same could be said for the rest of these. Like, they definitely had their heyday for me, but in terms of what I'm keeping, it's easier for me to just get rid of these. Okay, and here is why I have no problem getting rid of those, because this is still my keep pile, guys. At least I know that what is in this pile is good, so if I were to dip my hand in here on any given day, it's gonna be a foundation that I like and know works for me, but just with different facets and features to it. So that is all good. Even though this is still a lot for me, they're still all foundations that I know I love or have been wanting to try more of to see if I love them, like these dropper foundations from No. 7 and NYX. Okay, so now we have concealers, which are a little bit more manageable. First things first, I'm taking out my favorites naturally. The Estee Lauder Double Wear Waterproof Concealer is a current and pretty much all-time fave at this point, along with the Urban Decay All Nighter. These two are kind of like neck and neck for me in terms of coverage, how they dry down, and how long they last, so those are keepers. All of my potted concealers are actually pretty old at this point, so I am going to toss those, including this Makeup Forever, which I really liked for the longest time. I don't know if you can see, but these are actually, a solid dent has been made in these, and I love that it was just that green corrector because I tended to have redness like around my nose and stuff with allergies. This is a good one. It's just old. Same can be said for this Kashuk. This Becca. It didn't quite give as much coverage as I wanted, especially compared to those that I have now, but at the time it did do a good job, and it's a little bit more hydrating. And the Temp 22, and this one I actually really like for foundation because it has a wider shade range, so I could use it to, like, for foundation, and then I also could contour with it, but it is starting to dry out. You can see it's like separating around the sides here, so all of these need to go. I also have this one from L'Oreal that they sent me, and it's so new. I haven't even tried it yet, so gonna keep this one to try. The Ben Nye is also relatively new, and it's more like a corrector wheel because it is more of those peach tones. So I'm gonna it's, like I said, newer, so I'm gonna keep this. All right, so let's really see what we have here. So it's a little easier to get through them. Ooh, let's get into this, the IT Cosmetics Full Coverage Anti-Aging Concealer. This is the waterproof version. Really like this, but it is super duper old, so I think that needs to go because you can see that through the clear thing here, the texture's getting really funky in there. And the same can be said for this Tarte concealer. This, I don't even know that they make this anymore. It's the Amazonian Clay Waterproof 12-Hour Concealer. Really like this too, but it's very old, and so it's starting to dry out, so that's getting tossed too. The Tarte Shape Tape, obviously, I really love. I'm not as crazy about the Makeup Forever HD. I had a minute with them where I really enjoyed them, but they are lighter coverage compared to those that I have since found. So I'm going to give these to people who might enjoy them more. And the same goes for my LA Girl Pro Conceal. These are some that when I forget what video I was talking, but it was basically things that like, were they worth the hype? I don't think these were. They're an okay concealer, but they're not my favorite, especially for as hyped up as they are. So these are going to get given away too. In fact, they remind me a lot of the Naked Skin from Urban Decay, except the Naked Skin for me, they're a little bit lighter coverage, obviously, in the All Nighter, a little bit dewier finish than the All Nighter, but it looks more natural to me. Alrighty, now what else are we working with? This is actually not even a concealer, it's an under eye primer from e.l.f. that I haven't tried, so I do want to give that a try before I make up my mind. These from Maybelline, I really like. This is an old one though. They sent me these pretty recently, so I'm going to keep these, and these are the Pro Glow Concealers, although on my skin, they're none too glowy. They just are a little bit more lightweight. I think they're very similar to the original, but I've just used, this is old and I've used so much of it that I'm just going to toss it in favor of these. Then there's this guy, it's Boo Boo Cover Up from an Ipsy bag, barely used just because I wasn't, you know, super wowed by it, and so I'm going to give that to somebody. I really like this Derma Blend. It was an old favorite, so I want to come back to it and see if it still stands up to favorite status, and the same for this Manuel Beauty. I'm not as crazy about the concealer as I am about the foundation, but it was pretty good. The e.l.f. did not work for me, and neither did the Physicians Formula was okay, but in terms, like, compared to those that I'm keeping, it wasn't great, but the e.l.f. just really did nothing for me. So those are going to get given away. Same for this, oh my gosh, this 2B. I ordered a bunch of 2B stuff way back in the day from Ulta. I don't even know that they're still on Ulta's website anymore, but I got this. It's not a great concealer, kind of a fail, so I'm going to trash this. And then these are some that I'm just really kind of neither here nor there with. There is the Algenist Reveal Ultimate 6-in-1 Concealer, the Amazing Cosmetics Amazing Concealer. This is one from Sleek, which is more of a conceal / illuminator, like a Touchy Clot. And then this is the It Cosmetics CC Plus Eye. Again, I'm not really crazy about any of these, and this one, I'm just not a fan of the illuminator / concealer products, because I want to conceal, I want full coverage concealer, and there's so many that can do that and illuminate too, whereas this just doesn't provide the same kind of coverage, so these are going to get given away. And that's it for the concealers. That seemed easy enough. Let's go over the ones that we are keeping. So here we have this guy from L'Oreal, the Infallible Concealer Palette. Haven't tried that, want to see what it's like. This is not even a concealer, but I still also want to try that. It's the eye primer from e.l.f. And then we have my notorious faves, the Estee Lauder Double Wear, Tarte Shape Tape, Urban Decay All Nighter, and then those that I want to come back to / I just like to have if I want a little bit lighter, more natural coverage, more dewy coverage. That's what these guys are here for. And then my Peach Under Eye Corrector from Ben Nye. And that's it for the concealer department. So that's it from me, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Would love to hear if you guys are decluttering. How is it going for you? Are you finding it easier to get rid of stuff? Let me know in the comments. Besides that, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.